Alright, here we go for 10 minutes in the 86 Opala at Goiânia. Apparently not. Welcome and thanks for joining me for the 5th video in my Automobilista 2 tour of Brazil. To those who have recently subscribed after seeing my interview on Douglas Thompson's channel, welcome. I appreciate the sub and I hope you enjoy what you find here. For any of you that haven't seen that interview that would be interested in checking it out, I will leave a link in the description. We had a great conversation about sim racing, and if you aren't familiar with Douglas, I would definitely recommend checking his channel out as well. He's got a lot of great content on there. Today we're taking a little trip in the Wayback Machine and bringing a classic Brazilian racing out on track. I'm a big fan of this car track combo. Let's get into it. Today we find ourselves at the Autodromo de Goiânia. This 2.37-mile track was built in 1974 as one of a number of circuits that sprang up in Brazil in the wake of Emerson Fittipaldi's success in Formula One. This track was known for hosting many regional and national events throughout the years, though it gained much of its notoriety as a motorcycle racing circuit. The track was renamed the Autodromo Internacional Ayrton Senna following the Brazilian Formula One champion's death in 1994, though Senna himself never raced at the circuit. Around this time, the track surface had begun to deteriorate, leading major series away to other circuits. A botched resurfacing project only made this worse, and by 2011 the track was slated for demolition. However, local opposition to this mounted and was ultimately successful. From 2013 to 2014, major renovations were completed, and nowadays the circuit is known for being a regular stop for the Stock Car Brazil series, which is considered the major racing series in Brazil. Goiânia features 13 turns that present a fairly technical layout, featuring several quick switchbacks and fast double apexes. Our featured car today is the 1986 Chevrolet Opala stock car. The Chevy Opala was a car produced by General Motors of Brazil for the Brazilian market from 1969 to 1992. This was the first passenger car built by GM in Brazil, and about 1 million cars were produced overall in that time. As a race car, the Opala was successful in both Brazilian endurance and stock car racing. This version in Automobilista 2 is based on the Opala used in the Stock Car Brazil Racing Series from 1979 to 1986, specifically representing the final evolution of the car as used within that series during the 1986 season, as a new car was developed and used starting in 1987. AMS 2 also features 2 other versions of the Opala, the 1979 Stock Car Brazil version, as well as the old stock Opala, which is based on a car used in a current historic racing series in Brazil that uses modified Opalas from the 70s and 80s. The 1986 Opala stock car is powered by a naturally aspirated 4.1-liter, 248 horsepower inline-6 engine mated with a 4-speed H-pattern gearbox. It weighs in at around 2,381 pounds or 1,080 kilograms and features no driver assists. Alright, here we are at Goiânia for a quick race here in the 86 Chevrolet Opala Brazilian stock car. This is a car I have definitely found myself enjoying quite a bit. I had actually originally planned on doing this race using the old stock Opala, which is same thing, Chevy Opala, 70s, 80s Chevy Opala, based off the same type of car here, but it's actually a modern historic racing series in Brazil. It is, it's a real racing series. But I found when I got in that car, it didn't quite suit me. It's probably down to maybe some setup issues, could have been tuned out. But, I will say, if you've ever heard somebody use the expression, whatever floats your boat, that car is the boat that they're talking about, and boy does it float. It just wasn't quite doing it for me, but as soon as I hopped into the 86 here, it was like, oh yeah, everything that car was sort of missing. This one, just mwah, absolute lovely car to drive here. You could see I've made my way up from P11 to P8 already. Not a bad start here on the first lap, so I'll take that. But Yeah, this is a great car. Really makes me feel like, man, would have been a lot of fun to watch this racing back in the 80s, you know, mid 80s. I wouldn't have been able to watch it. I was a little bitty baby when these cars were ran, but you know, plus I don't live in Brazil, but for those who are around, I'm sure these were great. And I get the feeling that Brazilian stock car racing is still a great series. Definitely something I'd like to check out here one of these days. I'm not sure exactly if there's availability to watch that here where I am in the States, but something I'll probably check out, maybe add to my growing list of racing series that I enjoy watching in real life. But these 80s cars, oh man, they're great, especially if you enjoy, like I do, you know, the H-pattern shifter. Definitely gives you something to really work with as you're making your way, especially on a track like this. It's pretty quick overall. A lot of fast corners, or at least, you know, mid-speed. A lot of switchbacks coming through here in places. Got a couple low-speed corners. This one and another one upcoming here in particular that can be a bit tricky, especially in a car like this that can be subject to, you know, getting upset as far as with weight transfer. This one, oh, it's so easy to bring the back end around. And this is a car that if you start locking it up, it is going to want to bring that back end around. That's not too hard to get out of that, though. You know, it's kind of an easy in, easy out scenario as far as, you know, finding yourself in that situation, but you want to avoid it. And this turn here, it's kind of a sweeping double apex right-hander. So easy to get too deep into that braking zone. You really got to watch that. It leads onto this front straight here that absolutely going to, you know, the goal is to be close to that car ahead of you, get some slipstream, take advantage of that, maybe make an overtake on this front straightaway here, as I'm definitely not doing right now because I'm way too far behind. Into turn one here, which is a kind of a medium speed little looper here. Get another sort of double apex scenario, which leads into this quick little right, and then you got to get kind of heavier on the brakes, get down for this sort of hairpin scenario. This is one I often find myself just straight up, you know, Dukes of Hazzarding, just power sliding through in a completely not efficient way. So I really gotta make sure I'm getting down, scrubbing off some speed, getting that speed down before I get into it. Whew, see, there's some of that body roll I was talking about. Just gotta lift off the gas to kind of check that. This is when you really definitely want to start braking at about that 100-meter border. You're coming in, get down into second gear as you make your way through here. And then it's all about kind of working that gas pedal to steer your way through. You're steering so much with the pedals as you're, you know, weaving and bobbing your way through there. Still not close enough here. I think might get stuck in 8th, but it's all right. It's a few positions up from my start, so not a bad race as far as that goes. But oh man, I would love to get into some more excitement here. At this point, it might come only if I make a mistake and drop back, which is an absolute distinct possibility of happening. Yeah, I'm not particularly fast at this track or in this car, but you know, it doesn't matter in the sense that I have so much fun driving it. You know, and that's why we're out here, right? That's why we do this sim racing. I mean, unless you're getting somehow paid for it, which I'm not sure that there are many people who do. If you're not having fun, well, what are you doing? Go find another hobby. Life's short. God, I would just love to catch this car ahead of me. That would feel so good, but it seems like it is a bit out of reach in the time I have left here. About 4 minutes, a little under 4 minutes left. Ooh, lost the back end there for a sec. Downshifted a bit too early. Yeah, another thing that'll definitely happen to this car, if you do downshift too early coming into a braking zone, that is, again, one of those things that's going to bring that back end around. So you gotta be careful about that. And if you're like me and have just a general bad habit of downshifting too early, this is a car that's gonna learn you a thing or two when it comes to that. You're gonna come away with a respect for proper RPM ranges when it comes to downshifting. I feel like I'm in a pretty solid place here as far as not losing much time to the cars behind me and not gaining any time on the car ahead of me. We are just kind of locked in stasis here. 2 minutes left. Something could happen either way. Try to make sure that if it does, it's me making a move on this car ahead of me. But yeah, I don't think, unless they make a mistake, which I don't see any reason why they would at this point, we got ourselves a pretty locked-in finish here, so at this point I'm just going to see if I can keep myself on the straight and narrow, as it were, finish this out in P8. Don't want this to be another one of those many races I've had where I blow it in the last part of the race. God, that's such a frustrating feeling. Doing pretty well all race. I don't know about you guys, but I sometimes get like last lap anxiety, like in the sense that, I don't know, seems to be an extra amount of pressure, and if I'm gonna mess up, it's gonna be there. You know, I could have, it doesn't matter if it's a 10-minute race or an hour race, be putting together lap after lap just fine. You get into that last one and all of a sudden just seems like your muscle memory fails. Everything starts feeling way more difficult. Am I the only one? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I will say overcoming that feels great. Oh, see? Exactly what I was talking about here. Great example. Well, that was probably because I was looking over at the camera. All right, well, I wanted some action. Here it goes. Let's see if I can catch up. Oh, and he goes from P8 to P20 like that. Might be one more lap left. Maybe I get a couple positions back. That's all right. That is just a great example of exactly the kind of thing I was talking about here. For one reason or another, coming into some of those last laps, so easy to make a mistake. There's no way I'm not catching up here. Oh man, that is a bummer. Oh well. Good thing to say it is not a points championship, huh? Just one more bruise on the backside from where sim racing spanked me. I call those lessons learned. That is one of the great things about sim racing, though, is, you know, you really get to see progress with a skill set that becomes, you know, pretty evident when all of a sudden something clicks. Start making, you know, less mistakes, especially with a, you know, particular car at a, you know, maybe a certain track. And, you know, it really feels good to start, you know, progressing from wherever you are. And, you know, I'm a firm believer that, you know, everybody's always got something they could do better. This just gives you a chance to continually hone that blade, put that fine edge on your skill set, and have a lot of fun while you're doing it.
Alright, one more time through this one here. Myself down into second. Alright, as we run through past the finish line here with our tail tucked between our legs after an absolute embarrassing second to last lap incident there.
Thanks, as always, for riding along with me. Hope you enjoyed yourself. If you did, I'd certainly appreciate it if you gave a little clickety-click to the thumbs up icon. If you want to see more of my future content, hit that subscribe button as well. Catch you later.